We are Onyx Imaging. We are the highest rated and most reviewed printer service center in Oklahoma.
Hi, my name is John with Onyx Imaging. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Brother MFC-9460. We're going to be looking at common causes of paper jams, where to find them, and what leads to some of those paper jams. So most of the times, there's probably one of the most common places to find paper jams is going to be in your paper drawer. And the second place would be in the back of the printer. So behind this back cover and your front paper drawer, those are going to be the two most common places to find paper jams. And one of the reasons, actually a few of the reasons, in the paper drawer could be either these little green adjusters aren't set correctly for your size piece of paper. So in this case we're using 8.5 by 11 or standard letter paper. So you want to make sure that all of the indicators are pointing at 8.5 by 11 or the letter option, or if you're using any other paper size, to make sure it's actually on those little markings. You don't want it to be a little bit over or a little bit under. If it's not right on that marking, you can actually let the drawer be too loose and it has a hard time picking up paper, or too tight and again it has a hard time picking up the paper. Another common problem is when you're adding more paper to the printer. If it's not in a nice neat stack when you put the paper in, and if any of the paper kind of creases up and folds back behind the paper tray, again it can start making the paper drawer way too tight and it'll have a hard time picking the paper up. So a good way to keep that from happening is anytime you add paper, you want to take all the paper out and you want to kind of fan it in every direction, just to make sure that none of the paper is sticking to itself and that everything's nice and loose. And then put it back in and making sure that everything's nice and square, there's no paper folded up on any edges, and that'll help a lot with this any kind of paper jams. Another common mistake is wanting to get as much paper in this drawer as possible so you don't have to refill it all the time. It's actually possible to overfill your paper drawer, and again it makes everything too tight up against the paper pickup assembly and it has a hard time pulling paper through. So you want to make sure that you're not overfilling this drawer. So those are a couple of common problems with just the paper drawer that can be causing any kind of paper jams. Another problem that's pretty common is just a regular maintenance issue, is you could be looking for needing new rollers. If your rollers have gotten worn, then they're not going to have a hard time picking up paper. They're going to slip and not grab it the way it should. So you could just be due for some new rollers. And again, on the back side, it'd be really common to find some paper kind of folded up this way coming through the top of the printer. Whenever you're opening the back of the printer, please be careful. The fuser can be very hot, so you want to be careful where you're touching. And always try to slowly pull the paper out if the paper is stuck in the fuser. You don't want to just yank it. Paper can tear and get stuck in the fuser. So you want to slowly and firmly remove the paper from the fuser. And if it's getting stuck back here, it could just possibly be a bad fuser. Your fuser could be worn out and it might be time for a change there, in which case you just give us a call and we can help you out with that. Other than that, those are probably the most common reasons for a paper jam for a 9460. If you're still getting paper jams, if that doesn't help you figure out what's causing them, please feel free to give us a call. Other than that, hope you're back up and printing. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you're interested in how you can receive free labor on all of your service calls, as well as how to qualify for free printer upgrades, contact us today. We are here for all of your printer and office supply needs.